All right, we'll start with Austin.
Coach, as we get to the latter part of spring practice, talk about the young growth of Jordan Matthews, Ricky, and Christian. How much have you seen them grow through the first 10 practices or so here?
I'm going to talk about all 5 of them. We're talking about Jack, John Slaughter, Jack Luttrell, John Slaughter, Ricky Gibson, Jordan Matthews, and Christian Conyer. It's really not just been the last, obviously being this our 9th practice here, okay? But since they've been here since December, and I've seen tremendous growth from the time they got here, you know what I mean? Because we actually gave them the playbook at that time, and we actually gave them some reps during those practices, to the time now where obviously it's been, since they got back to school, the month of the latter half of January, the month of February and March. Obviously now we're in April. Take the 9 practices that you're talking about, Austin, and they've come a long way. They really have. They've matured. They've become very confident, obviously managing their time with school. The schedule, that's the hardest thing to understand when you're a young player. But, they've grown a lot since December. And obviously they're doing a good job too, because we're actually, we're not, there's not ones, there's not twos, there's not threes, we're mixing everybody in there, giving everybody an opportunity, and they've done a really good job.
Rick, up front here.
You talked a lot about last year just kind of working with your players as defensive backs, maybe less so cornerbacks or safeties in particular. How have some of those younger guys been adapting to that kind of mindset here in the spring?
I think you're talking about the versatility, and we're not doing too much with the young players. You know what I mean? Meaning, we've been, John Slaughter and Jack Luttrell just been working the safety positions and the star position, and in the 3 corners, Ricky, Christian, and Jordan have just been playing the corners, and so we've done that on purpose. Give them an opportunity to compete, know what to do, and again, it's worked out really well for us. And they've been able to compete with the guys that have been here.
Eric, then Adam.
Kind of on those notes, how much competition do you have this spring in terms of how much more do you have now compared to maybe at points in times in the fall or last year?
We've been obviously the last year we've had a lot of tremendous amount of injuries, and having those 5 guys come in here, obviously Gabe. Judy Lally has been here also, We've been able to compete. We actually have had a competition open, like I just said to you, man. It's not, we don't have a first group, we don't have a second group, and that includes everybody, whether that's, Tamarian McDonald or Jalen McCullough, Wesley Walker. They all are competing, and we've been kind of moving everybody around to give them an opportunity because we want the competition, We got to be better, and we've said that from the get-go here. So. It's been really good. It really has, because we've been able to evaluate a lot more reps of everybody, and we told them we're going to give them a shot. This is the time where they get the opportunity, to know what they got, and they got to prove it, and it's got to show up on film.
Adam and Patrick.
You've obviously seen a lot of these corners play a lot of snaps. When you're evaluating these guys in the spring, how much weight do you put on what you've seen of them in games before versus guys you haven't seen in games before?
I'm assuming you're talking about Nico and Kamal, right, and Warren Burrell and Brandon Turnage. Obviously, Warren and Brandon have been out this spring. Obviously, they've been with us the whole time. But yeah, there's a lot there. Slaughter really had some really good games. Kamal's had some, some moments that obviously he's got tremendous amount. They got experience, and obviously you're hoping that with that. And then continuing to improve on their fundamentals and techniques, they'll be better. And again, they have been. We've had 9 practices, and again, we've been pleased with the progress that we've got going here. And I think a lot of it's because of the competition. And so that's always good. That's healthy. That's the last great motivator, as you know.
Coach, with Nico, he was a guy that played star, played safety. I think he even said last season he sort of viewed himself as a safety, still had that mindset. Now he's been a corner. He played well in some games there last season. How has he kind of adjusted and transitioned to being more of a cornerback, and kind of what have you seen out of him at that position?
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. Again, he's all in. Again, we love versatility in our defensive backs. That's what we want. And You know, when we went down with some injuries and midweek of the Kentucky game, you know, he didn't bat an eye. You know, Neek, go over and play corner. Hadn't played corner at all, other than a couple of snaps in the spring, and obviously we all saw how he played, and then playing and how he played moving forward. He's a playmaker. You know, he's somebody that's proven it, and again, he's had a good spring. He's locked in on playing corner right now, and again, he's a really good player. He's a playmaker. You see it, and you just got to be more consistent.
Vince, then Wes.
Almost all of your DBs are listed at 6 feet or taller. Is that something that has been conscious to try to address in recruiting to bring into your program to give you that measurable that pays off on game day?
Yeah, I don't think anything's changed. We love length. When you're trying to go against these wide receivers that are tall and got great size, you want the length. But it's not just the height factor. You got to have the long arms. You got to have the speed. You got to have all the other, obviously skill sets that you need. But yeah, there's no doubt that's kind of like where we like to see those guys. Obviously, I think we saw something from the combine with the NFL. I think the average corner was like 5'11" and a half. So not that we won't take guys that are longer than that and guys that are not that height. Obviously, I've been blessed in my career, and the two of the best corners that I've ever coached were 5'8" and 5'9". So they all come in all shapes and sizes, But obviously, you got to be very conscious of being long when you're playing against some really tall receivers.
Willie, when you talk about Danico and other guys who move around a little bit and how much y'all like versatility in defensive backs, I know a lot of people do that. How do you, as a coach, make sure that's something that's adding to their game and making them better, as opposed to sort of confusing them or slowing development or making them maybe a jack of all trades and master of none? How do you?
Yeah, we just want the skill set. We want to say to ourselves, if he's the 5th best DB, then we want to make sure he's not the backup corner that doesn't know how to play safety. So it's kind of like that kind of mindset. It's not trying to confuse anybody. The corners are very, they play left and right. They're very versatile as far as playing the boundary in the field. So there's some versatility there. The safeties are very similar for strong or free. It's the same thing. You got to know it. So it's not like it's as difficult as it sounds. You know what I mean? But like I said to you earlier about the young guys, we make a conscious effort. How much do they know? How much are they capable of doing? We're not going to take away, where they're confused. So if they can't do it, then obviously we don't force feed them, and that's why with the young guys, we've kept them in one spot, okay, and not moving them around. We haven't given them an opportunity to play the nickel spot, so to speak. You know what I mean? So let them play, let them, let the corners play the corners right now, because obviously they're learning the defense. And with the Nico situation, again, we lost some guys. He was the next best guy ready to go. You know what I mean? And he had enough knowledge to do it. So.
Coach, I guess Gabe was a little bit more of a known commodity because he played at Vanderbilt, played at BYU. What were your expectations for him coming in, and how has he kind of lived up to those or matched those?
We wanted somebody that had experience. Obviously would fit into our culture that we've built here. Gabe is a professional. I mean, obviously you just said it. He's been at 2 places where he has played a lot of football. We wanted that experience. We wanted somebody to come in here with the skill set that also can challenge for the starting spot and push these guys. And not knowing where we would be with some of these injuries, and then the youth of good players. Where would they be at? We wanted to bring in somebody that has some experience, and again would fit in right in with our culture. You know what I mean? And he has been accepted, and he's done a great job of buying into our program, and all the players.
Time for one last question. Go to Casey in the back.
Coach, you mentioned the competition factor with this group. Is there anyone that you've seen really step up at an elite level to meet that competition level, and just in general, how have you seen them kind of elevate their play?
Without signaling guys, I think they've had all their moments. You see flashes of really some really good plays. You know, it's been really inconsistent. And again, I'm talking about all the young guys. You know, those 5 guys, along with Gabe. You know, there might be a little bit more consistent with Gabe, okay, because obviously he has the experience. He's really picked up our defense. He's ahead with knowledge because of his experience. You know what I mean? Some of the guys are not 100%. I'm talking about the young guys of learning our package. And that's where, you know, the inconsistency comes in, you know, but they've all really have done a really good job of making plays, whether it's a pick or a really good tackle. And so, you know, we just want to see more consistency. And that'll come, you know, again, we're excited with these young guys. We really are moving forward. And by the time we get through OTAs in June and July and then fall camp, you know, September rolls around, that first ball game, it's almost like they've been here for more than a year. And that's the goal, and I think they'll be in great shape.